ALG really saved me. I put all of my success on joining this group. People constantly checking in saved me.
I made so many friends with people that I've never met, but I feel incredibly close to, and I consider them family.
It really is a family. It is a place where you can just be yourself and there is no judgment. There is no shame. You are so welcome there.
Nobody has to be in this alone. Everybody is either going through or has gone through the same thing at one point.
Let's do this.
Welcome back to the ALG podcast. It's a pleasure to be here today. Today, we don't have a guest, but, me and David just decided to chop it up with you. If you're listening to this on the day of release, happy Friday. Really quick at the top of the show, I want to remind everybody to 5-star rate and review the show. Those 5-star rate and reviews go a really long way. So today, David, I think that we should dive kind of deep into the mental health space. I know that we've talked a lot about mental health on here. We did a whole roundtable discussion about men's mental health. We've dived in it with, a few of our guests, but I don't really believe that we've chopped it up, just you and I. And lately, the topic of discussion within the ALG community calls has been mental health, mental growth, daily affirmations, and why they're important on this journey. So I figure we bring it to the airwaves and, kind of let everyone listen in.
No, 100%.
But first off, I'm very rude. David, how are you doing?
I am phenomenal. I'm back at the beach house right now. I've been on a tear fitness wise. Weight loss has been fantastic. I'm pretty committed to doing another show, to be honest. Whether it's this November or next year, I'm going to do another competition, and we're doing it differently. I'm using carbs during my weight loss. Last time, I just find it easier to cut carbs for weight loss, and this time I'm adding carbs and doing it that strategy of calorie deficit. It's been fun. Really? It's different. It's a little more difficult in my opinion for me, but I find it just obviously much easier to cut carbs, go keto, and lose weight. But obviously it's not the only end all be all. So I've been adding more carbs into my weight loss this time.
So you know what? Actually, that's a really good place to pivot this conversation. So now that you're doing this whole, adding carbs in while still losing weight, how has that been on a mental level? Because I know for me, when I was, really knee deep in the weight loss journey, but I was trying to pack on some muscle, obviously reintroducing carbs is one of the first things that I did. And obviously when reintroducing carbs, when you're low carb or keto for so long, you're going to notice, the scale moving up and not moving down. So how has that been on your mental health? I mean, obviously you're in the game a little, a while, but.
Oh, definitely. My biggest thing in the mental side, especially, number one, I find it just personally a lot easier to be in a bigger calorie deficit and not feel like the cravings.
Right.
I have this harder pull, especially at night, when it comes to wanting to go to the chips, wanting to go to some kind of carby thing that I normally would just be like, oh, I'm not eating it. It's easy just to say no. It's hard to go, well, no, in moderation. And so it has been a battle. I've obviously lost some nights, and being able to have that 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock, whatever it was, meal that I was not planned for, and you turn into a bear, and being able to just give yourself grace, give yourself accountability, start over a new day tomorrow. Don't punish yourself, but just acknowledge it, accept it, and move on is always something. Because what I remember in the past, I would when you'd have that, recently when I'd have a meal off plan or whatever that may be, it's like, damn it, Dave, what the fuck are you doing? Come on, you're better than that. And you just kind of play this, and then it really perseverates and makes things worse. So now it's like, I acknowledge it. Yep, you probably shouldn't have done that, David. This is your program. You fell off program. Let's get back on in the morning. Let's get back to routine. Let's do everything exactly as planned, because over time, guess what? I'm going to do the right thing. And so, but that's a game, because we've all been there where it's like you're a week good, 2 weeks good, and all of a sudden you throw this meal in that wasn't anticipated. And being able just to acknowledge it, grace yourself, and move on is a game. It's a game.
Right. So actually, talking about stuff like that. See, are you from the philosophy of night eating is bad? I get into this argument with people.
No. My thing is, there's nothing wrong with night eating if it's planned. Like, for example, if you have 2,700 calories, you're at 2,200, you got 500 to go, and it's 1 a.m. Eat, baby. You're fine. There's nothing wrong with eating at night. The issue is if you ate your full calories for the day and then you throw another 700 at night, well, then you're in a surplus, and that's obviously the issue.
Exactly. See, my eating schedule right now is my eating schedule is all over the place.
Really?
Yeah. Oh yeah. So obviously 2021 has been a roller coaster in my life.
Oh, definitely for you.
Started off New Year's Eve with having COVID, and the punches never stopped. Obviously, flew out to LA, spent 2 weeks out in LA, had surgery. So now I'm recovering from surgery. So I haven't been quote unquote on plan as far as like my time meals, how many times a day I'm eating, but I'm not overeating. That's the thing. So back when I was, coasting and everything was, at, routine, I eat 3 meals a day when I'm at work. I have 3 portioned out meal prep meals, and then I have dinner. And then sometimes I'll have like, Quest chips.
Do you have breakfast?
I don't eat breakfast. See, I don't consider myself
breakfast is the most important meal of the day.
Yeah,
you're basically just ruining your metabolism.
Yeah. Well, I would never say that I am intermittent fasting.
Don't put a name to it.
Yeah. I don't label anything that I do.
Mm-hmm.
And I just find it way easier that way.
Yeah.
But anyway, so I still to this day I won't eat until probably like 1:30 in the afternoon. Obviously, I'll wake up, I'll have black coffee. That's just me. You know what I mean? But so I'll have my coffee, and then I won't eat till like 1:30 in the afternoon. But now I've only been eating 1 meal prepped meal at work.
Okay.
So that ranges anywhere between 250 calories to maybe 600 calories max.
Okay.
At work. And then I'm not eating again until I eat dinner, which is anywhere between, and people are going to freak out when they hear this, but dinner for me doesn't happen until anywhere between 7 and 10:30 at night.
Okay. Yeah, nothing wrong with that. And to be honest, you're almost under eating at that point, to be honest.
Oh no, I am definitely under eating, but my problem is because I come from a past life of obesity, overeating, night eating.
Night eating freaks you out?
It doesn't freak me out.
Okay.
It's not that it freaks me out. Like obviously never in the moment am I like, oh, you shouldn't be eating this, because I need to eat because I am seriously under eating. But the next day I'll be like, maybe you should, not break your fast for another half hour or so.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? I start playing that
little
Potter. Yeah, you know what I mean?
Almost not a punishment, but it's almost like an adjustment. Right. And it's like as soon as you start adjusting shit, you're in trouble.
Yep.
It's like, no, just go back to program. Just go back to where you were. Move on. Like you get into a very dangerous game. Oh, I remember when Nicole had that.
Yeah.
Like, for example, where it was like she had that game where she hadn't gotten there yet, but it was like we just wanted to pump the brakes. Like, hey, be careful with starting to do these what almost seemed like punishments for being off plan, because that's a very dangerous game.
Yeah, I don't believe in punishments for going off plan. I don't like that mentality. I don't like when people have that mentality, because I will fully own the fact that I used to have that mentality, because I came from a place of fad diet. You're on a diet. You need to go on a diet. You're dieting, and then comes the punishment. You know what I mean? So that was just like second nature to me, I guess, to go into that punishment mode, when punishment is not what you should be doing at all. And if you fuck up, if you fall off track, and when I say fall off track,
can we go out to specify when?
Listen, it's 1,000% going to happen. I don't care what your strength is. I don't care.
I've lost 190 pounds in 7 months. You will fall off.
You will fall off. Yeah. But the thing is, you can't, for a lack of better terms, you can't crucify yourself for going off plan. You can't punish yourself, because what punishing yourself does opens up that rabbit hole that you just fought so hard to get out of.
Yep.
I don't know how it was for you, but breaking my food addiction, thankfully, I had the help of gastric sleeve surgery. I think that was a huge proponent, if anything, of me just breaking my food addiction.
Mhm.
But man, I would punish the shit out of myself back in the
Mhm.
day.
And mine was, but I tell you what, my punishment towards myself early on, even in my weight loss, because it did happen. I definitely would double down. Like, well, I got to do 20 more minutes cardio. I got to do 30 more minutes cardio, whatever it may be. But also at the same
Right.
time, it would just be mental. It'd just be like, dude, and it's always so interesting because I always kind of say the pain and pleasure. I don't think there's anything wrong with getting accountable to yourself, getting what's the term I want to say?
Transparent, accountable.
Well, just the idea of like, there's nothing wrong with getting hard on yourself. It better be positive though,
Right.
which is like, there's a difference between saying, David, what the fuck are you doing? You're being a fucking loser. That's not gonna help. But like, if you were to say something like, you know what, David, you're better than this. I know you're capable of more. Let's get back on track. That like that whole thing. There's nothing wrong with getting on yourself and being accountable and like kind of harping yourself up or hyping yourself up, but just making sure that's done in a positive twist.
Absolutely. Because here's the thing, no one's going to hold your hand through this journey, but you need to hold your own hand.
Mhm.
You follow what I'm saying? Like, the way that no one's going to keep you accountable. Hey, listen, if you have accountability partners in your life and you have a group of people that, will keep you accountable, that's awesome. But at the end of the day, you also need to learn how to keep yourself 1,000% accountable
1,000% accountable
to the things that you're saying that you're going to do and actually following through with them. So to me, you fuck up, right? And
Yep.
I know people listening to this are going to relate. The first thing to do when you fall off track, when you fuck up, is to say, okay,
That
I
happened.
recognize what I did. It happened. It happened. And
It
it's
happened.
in the past now. And the thing is, when you're on this journey, we don't dwell on the past anymore because we're past that. Not to use the same word, over and over again, but we really are.
We're over that.
Yeah, we're over that. We're past that. We're further than when we started. And I know it sounds like we're going in one big circle here, but it's the God's honest truth. When you start thinking of the next thing that you're about to do, the next level, and you stop worrying about what happened when,
Mhm.
you're going to go light years forward.
More
Every
consistent.
single time. Consistency is what creates all these positive things. Positive outlook, consistency, results every single time.
And I tell you what, on a little bit of a pivot off of that, I do want to shout out. You want to talk about like mental health and how to do things correctly. I'm going to shout out Britta right now because she has a very similar situation to what I went through 2 years ago. And just the decision to respond to a situation of adversity compared to reacting to it. And if for anyone that doesn't know Britta's situation, obviously she's very public about it, so it's not a big deal. She snapped her ankle longboarding.
Oh yeah, she snapped that bad boy.
Snapped that bad boy. Do you see the pictures? It's grody. If you haven't checked it out, I highly recommend it because it's nasty.
Shout out to Britta.
Shout out to Britta. And she immediately within hours of it happening hits both of us up, says what happened, and was already saying stuff like, all right, well, we're gonna figure this out. My nutrition's gonna have to be cleaner. I'm gonna have to figure this out. I'm looking forward to this new challenge, and I'm gonna stay on track. I think that's just the way it's gonna be. And I just remember my similar situation where 2 years ago, the year before I was gonna, so 3 years ago, year and a half ago, I did my bodybuilding show, and so 2.5 years ago, I made the decision I'm going to do it. At this point, I was in the middle of a big bulk, too much of a bulk, and I was up to like 270. And I was like, okay, we were thick. And the dangers of transitioning from obese weight loss into bodybuilding and like strength training is very dangerous because you start to eat more, and then you start to lose track of the scale really quickly, and it can catch up to you. I'm not anywhere against. I'm not immune to that. And so, but I remember I made the decision that following year I was going to do a show, and on Halloween that year I tore my PCL playing basketball. And what do most people do in these situations? Car accident, tearing a knee, rolling an ankle, their back gets blown out. What do they do? this is gonna suck. I'm gonna lose all my gains. I'm gonna get fat again. Where's the ice cream? Bring me the ice cream. Give me the pizza. I want it all. And I mean, fuck it, whatever. I'm gonna drown my sorrows in food because I tore my knee. That's one option. That is a reactive response. You can do that. That's an option. Or you can pump the brakes. You can go, hey, I tore my knee. This is gonna suck. I mean, it's not going to be fun by any means. Obviously, I don't want to be in this situation, but I'm here. So what am I going to do? You know what? I'm going to respond to the situation. I'm going to calm down. I'm like, you know what, David? This is a fun opportunity because guess what? Not only am I going to do a bodybuilding show next year, but I get to explain how the year I decided to do a bodybuilding show, I tear my fucking knee. I have to go through rehab. I lost 60 pounds, 15% body fat, and still stood on stage. So what the fuck is your excuse? And so it's that reactive versus responsive situation that we're all like, this is something that everyone has to work on, is the react versus response situation that in mental health, where you start to get consistent on calming yourself down and finding better strategies to deal with stress, finding better strategies to deal with situations that are out of our control. And so what have been some of those different events that you've had to kind of react versus respond?
I've had a ton of those. Shit, where do I start? Well, I tore my meniscus 2.5 years ago.
I didn't know you tore your meniscus.
Yeah, I tore my meniscus on my birthday.
Were you pop lock and dropping it?
I was in wrestling training, and we were just rolling around. It was after training. Normal stuff, like nothing catastrophic happened. And I had a jug handle tear in my meniscus, couldn't bend my knee, had to crawl to my car out of the building. It was wild. It was gnarly. So yeah, I had to get total meniscus repair. I never tore anything in my whole entire life. And, right then I made that decision. Hey, you've just come from so much. I was like 230 pounds down, 250 pounds down, whatever I was. I was at the peak of everything. Everything was going my way. I was wrestling training. I was following my dreams. And then, of course, everything just kind of came crumbling down on my 25th birthday. I had that slight woe is me moment. And then I realized everything that I had been through. And I was like, I'm not going to throw this away because I have to have knee surgery. 3 months on the sideline in the grand scheme of things is not that long. So what was I to do? So at that moment in time, I was just like, fuck it. You're going to stay accountable to the exact way you're eating right now. You're not going to change a thing. If anything, you're going to bottom out the carbs that you're eating, maybe just a little bit. You're going to up the hydration, even though you're not doing anything. And whatever is going to be. And then another time, obviously I've had 2 sets of skin surgeries. So when I had my tummy tuck, same exact thing. Listen, you would think, hey, you just had a tummy tuck. Everything looks great. You want everything to be great, but I don't know how long your recovery was, but I think the initial recovery from the tummy tuck was almost like 6 months, 5 to 6 months all in all, because you couldn't work abs. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I was like 16 weeks. Yeah. So
okay.
What is that? 4, 8, 12. That's 4 months for me.
Yeah. Okay. So let's say 4 or 5 months. Mm-hmm. Again, you're not doing anything. Your routine is totally off. You're not going to the gym. You can't lift. You can't do a damn thing. So in that moment, you have two decisions to make. Are you going to stay the same and, act as if you're still doing, or are you going to go back and open up that rabbit hole and reach into the, the junk drawer for, a bag of Lay's? And that's it. It's that split
Lay's.
Looking back on it now, I mean, Lay's was okay.
Oh, I never even 400-pound David. I was not a fan of Lay's.
Yeah.
I went to the
mad greasy. Remember?
Yeah,
yellow bag,
greasy, and they just tasted like air. I gotta say, I was always a Sun Chip guy.
Were you?
I love the Sun Chips.
With Sun Chips.
I was a big Sun Chip guy.
Yeah, I was a big Funyun guy.
See, I think Funyuns are the grossest thing on the face of the earth.
No, you're wrong.
See, this is where an immovable object meets an unstoppable force, because you're fucking wrong.
No, you are.
Funyuns are.
See, I wasn't a Dorito guy either. I was that kid at birthday parties. Doritos would come out, and I'd be like, I don't want those.
Doritos are all right.
Anyway, tangent there. Sorry about that.
Mental health.
Yes. So right in that moment, you have two decisions to make. Are you staying the same, or are you going to go right back down that rabbit hole?
Mhm.
And you alone make that decision. No one's coming. There's nobody coming. The magical man from the sky is not coming down. He's going to tell you, David, take that the fuck out of your mouth. That happened.
And it's because you sit there and it's like, early on, you have to accept the fact there's going to be things out of your control in your life that are going to put you in these stressful situations.
Right.
And being able to, even at a relatively early part of your transformation, being able to say that okay, I'm not gonna act like weeds don't exist. My life's gonna be perfect every single day, and like it's just great. Every day's great. Like that's not the point. The point is to be able to acknowledge the fact that, hey, things are not as ideal as you want them to be. Nothing wrong with that. But being able to say, regardless of how things go off track, I'm not going to allow it as a justification to make my life worse. It's like, I still love Will Smith's statement, which is like, obviously, self-accountability is self-love. When you do things for yourself that are loving, that is the definition of self-love. And it's like the second part of that conversation is, at the end of the day, most people don't give a shit. And at the end of the day, most people almost want to see you fail when push comes to shove. And so you're going to kick your own self in the balls when things aren't right. Like you're going to make your life worse. Like think about how humans are the only people out there that when life's getting worse, it's like, fuck it, I'm going to make my life worse.
Yeah. I don't, no other species has self-pity. I don't think so.
Yeah, gazelles are just like, wow, this lion's over there. Fuck it.
Fuck it. Let me just walk in his general direction.
I'm done. You just see this gazelle just like, eat me.
But again, like the whole point of this journey is you have to adapt.
Mm-hmm.
Like you have no control over current situations. But for the most part, and I'll give this like 96% of the time, you have total control over your own life.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And it's not until something else outside of what you can control affects what you can. So, major car accident, death, whatever, let's not talk about like the dark and eerie shit. But seriously, you have total control of every situation. So at some point in time, you need to sit down and have a conversation with you, which a lot of us don't do at all. We are more afraid to talk to our inner self than we are to anybody else.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the problem,
in
my opinion.
Oh, 100%. And then asking the question, like, I love this statement all the time, is like, is what I'm doing serving me or hurting me? Right. And just being able to ask yourself in a very just open-sided thing, like, you know what? Is smoking cigarettes hurting me or helping me? Yeah, they're definitely hurting me. And just getting to that position is such a great place to be. Absolutely. Like just hey, is the binge eating because I'm stressed really helping me? No. Okay. At least let's acknowledge that it's not good. Okay. So it's not good. So now we're at this position now. Okay. So obviously I'm stressed. What's a better way that I can deal? Because stress is always going to be there. So what is a better way I can handle it? Let's go to the gym, or I'm going to call Aunt Susie, or I'm going for a walk, or I'm petting my puppy. I don't know what it is. But that's between you. But being able to just acknowledge the fact that the strategies, when it comes to binge eating, when it comes to whatever it may be, is this really helping me? And just no, it's not. Okay, cool. That's fine. Nothing wrong with that. I'm not gonna vilify myself. I'm not gonna sit here and belittle myself because of my past actions. I'm just like, you know what? From here on out, I'm gonna make a better decision. And that part of mental health is so massive. Just that 5-second pause between reacting and responding literally will make your life 99.9% better by itself. Oh, yeah. Because it's just, you sit there and I constantly see it where, and I am far from perfect with it, but I'm doing my best to acknowledge where my faults are. Let's work on them. Let's get better at what I can control. And it's like, you just get into that path. You just start one day. It's like, you know what? I'm going to not yell at my sister for blank, whatever it may be. And just getting in that habit of starting to slow down that react versus respond. And like, I'm going to make a better decision today. Mm-hmm. That one decision, momentum. makes a better decision. And that next one makes a better decision. All of a sudden, a year from now, you lose 60 pounds, you're shredded, you got the wife or husband, your dream, you got $1 billion in the bank, and your life is fucking perfect, right? That's how that.
Positivity is a chain reaction.
Oh, 100%.
That's all it is. Positivity attracts positivity, attracts positivity, attracts positivity, attracts positivity. And it just keeps going on and on and on. Now,
how do you fix, what's your, actually, it's up. So I actually had someone DM me this question. How do you fix a negative mindset? What's your thoughts? No, I want to get your thoughts first and I'll kind of give my thoughts.
How do you fix a negative mindset? Well, you have to first figure out why that person, like, what is that triggering point that is bringing the negativity on? You follow what I'm saying? And then to me, it's just diving more deeply into why this is happening and how we can prevent whatever it is from happening, or how do we go around whatever the situation is that's happening? And how do we as a person take accountability to ourselves after that thing has happened? Because like you were saying before, everything is response and reaction, response and reaction. So, to me, it's fixing that reaction every single time. No matter what the negativity is, it's always fixing that reaction.
No, I totally get it. And
I didn't answer your question at all, but
no. I mean, again, it's just the idea of, like, for me, it's similar, because my whole perspective is like, you don't fix a negative mindset, you build a more positive one.
Okay, well, yeah,
like the idea, like this idea that
fixing.
You don't fix negative, you build positive. Just like momentum of change. Like you don't just, like, I think as you start to get in the habit of looking at things from a more positive lens, guess what? It's going to naturally happen more.
Absolutely.
And it's like, the way I kind of explain it, it's like you've been building this negative ball of negativity forever. You're carrying it with you and you can't throw it away. So the only way to fix it is to start building a positive ball. And then as soon as the positive ball outweighs the negative ball kind of disappears. The positive ball takes over. Like, because again, like this idea that overnight all of your negative responses are just going to go away. I just don't like there's no way. Like that's not how life works. Like one day you flip a switch. Yeah, everything's great. And like, I'm on top of the world. It's like, no, like but it gives you something to give yourself some grace on, because it's like, hey, I'm working on this. We're getting better at this. And that whole philosophy, I have found that's the way I've kind of done things to make things more consistent within like positivity and mental change.
I got you. So now my question is, where I wanted to pivot to next is, how does one know when to ask for help?
I think it's never too early to ask for help on anything. And
it's never too late to ask for help.
And yeah, it's never too late too. I mean, that's the whole point. Like, I think being humble with yourself, but that's a loaded question, because there's some people out there that just that their biggest thing they're missing is they need to ask for help. That's all they got to do.
Yeah.
Flip of the coin. There's some people out there that all they do is ask for help.
Ask for help, right?
And they don't take any of the advice.
And they don't take initiative.
And they don't take initiative from it. They all the above.
Right.
And their issue has nothing to do with advice. Their issue has nothing to do with help. Their issue has to deal with acknowledging the fact of, hey, you're getting help. Hey, there are people are trying to help you and you won't do it.
I actually like that, because I can name several times in my life where I have, obese John Arpino, 500-pound John Arpino, had went to people who were living a better lifestyle than me, who had the body that I wanted, and I would go up to them and I would ask for help. They would give me tons of advice, tons and tons and tons of knowledge, and I would never do anything.
Yep.
But then I would see the next person who was exactly what I wanted to be, what they were doing, everything, and I would ask them, and I would just keep getting advice, but I would never, I would never get off the pot. It's like shit or get off the pot. I would never, ever, ever get off the pot.
Yep. And it's life is so yin and yang. I fucking hate when people say like, this is the one thing. Yeah. It's this one thing. It's like, nothing is one. There's not one thing that is one thing. Like, that's just not how life works. Some people need positive reinforcement. Some people need to work on this, like positive, and some people need to actually live in reality. There are plenty of people out there living sunshine and rainbow world. And like, everything's great. Everything's great. I'm 400 pounds. I'm losing my 3 toes because of diabetes, but everything's great.
Everything's great.
Everything's fantastic. No, that's not how this works either. No. And so it is such a yin and yang kind of position, because it's like,
well, there are people that are okay with being miserable.
Yeah.
Like, I have met those people. I'm related to those people. You know what I mean? Like, that, I'll call a spade here. You know, like, that's just the nature of the beast. But like, I know diabetics that should definitely get a hold on their life that don't do anything.
Nope.
That have to check their blood sugar, that have to take insulin, but they're having, 2 glasses of soda with dinner. They're having carbs all the time. Like, bruh, you have to, there's like no other way of saying it, but bruh, like, and I've been that guy, like, and that's why I feel like it's okay to speak from that space, because I've been that version. Like, I've been the fucking.
We can have the hard conversations that most people aren't really allowed to.
But I've been the 500-pound fat dude who's looked at someone and been like, "Don't you think you had enough?" You know what I mean? Like, you just had a second. Don't you think a second piece of cake is enough, bro? You're sitting there, you're 500 pounds. Like, who the fuck are you to tell me?
Yeah, and it's and the same thing of like stress eating, where like people in every walk of life, and you see them, and all of a sudden they have Aunt Susie dies. It's like, give me the ice cream, and I look at him like, is that really what you want?
Do you have an Aunt Susie, by the way? I've always wanted to ask you that.
Nope, no Aunt Susie.
Oh, okay, because you use Aunt Susie as an example all the time. I've seen this lady get electrocuted, killed, shot. Like,
no Aunt Susie. I think that's why I say it, because it's like, I don't have an Aunt Susie, so we're safe.
One day you're gonna find out you have an Aunt Susie.
I'm gonna attract an Aunt Susie into my life.
Hey,
that's funny. No, but like, I think it's being able to, when you walk through something, and then having the empathetic but strong conversation and perspective with someone, like, hey, that's not good. Like, I've been there. It's not where you want to be, and I know this path. And so being able to say that, not like in a vindictive way, but it's like, hey, I get it. Right. And that's where it's like obesity, body positivity, and that whole kind of swirl is like, I'm not going to see him go, God, look at all you fat pieces of shit. Obviously, I'm not going to say that. Like, you're just lazy. But it's like having that humble conversation. I remember when I told my mom I looked pretty good for 400 pounds because all my friends thought I was 300. I remember making those justifications. I get it. But you will get to a point, I hope sooner than later, where it's like, that's just not the road you want to go down. That's not it. We've kind of tanged off mental health a little bit, but
no, but I do like the direction of where.
No, I think we had a very, very just humble conversation. I think we should kind of do this more often. I think it's a fun dynamic, because it's just you and I, shooting the shit. Honestly, for anyone who watches this entire podcast and you're watching on YouTube, comment below what your thoughts were. Or if you're in the ALG community app, go on there, get perspectives. I'm always intrigued. I love feedback. Did you like the conversations? Did you not? Would you like to double down on something? Anything. I love I love constructive criticism. Anything that involves you're a bunch of fucking losers. Okay, that's not.
I know that you're only talking about him, that you're not talking about me. See, if I saw that, I would just be like, oh, they're talking about Dave.
I'm not talking about Dave. Yeah. You know, I have heard though, if you give a 5-star review, that I can grow a beard. Like science has clinically proven that if we get like 500 5-star reviews, my beard grows. So,
well, what I am going to do is, after this podcast goes up, the next 3 5-star rates with a review, we could give them money off the journal.
Oh, I like that. Yeah, we'll make that happen.
So 5-star rate review, put a really nice review, get some money off the ALG Accountable Life Journal. And another thing that we wanted to touch upon really, really quickly. When we have the opportunity to do, just you and I again, which has been a very rare opportunity since we've started this podcast. We've had a lot of amazing guests, but I would love to do a Q&A episode.
Yes, we got to figure that out.
to set that up, and if you've listened to this podcast, obviously in its entirety now, please start shooting over your questions via DM to the Accountable Life Instagram page. So the Accountable Life Group at Accountable Life Group on Instagram. Shoot us over your questions, because the next time that we do this, we are going to etch out either a whole episode of a Q&A, or we will etch out, the last 10, 15 minutes, depending on how many questions we have. So we want to hear from you. We want to know what you want to know, and hopefully that we can answer those questions for you. So again, just shoot over a DM to the ALG Instagram page. 5-star rate and review, get your money off the ALG Journal. And then, David, the moment that me and you have been waiting for since last year when we started this rigmarole, lay it on.
Lay it on him. We dropping the bomb?
Yeah, might as well. If
we're dropping the bomb.
I don't think anyone's making it this far to the end of this podcast. But
wow, if you drop it this far, I'm so excited. We're about to launch it. We're finally going to launch coaching. I'm super grateful for it. We're going to have one-on-one coaching and group coaching. So there'll be opportunities if you want one-on-one, you want to have those conversations, you feel like you have you want that consistency through just one-on-one mentorship. Great. If you want the community aspect of being able to have a small group of people inside the same community, building that accountability together and having a weekly phone call and have those conversations, have those questions, be able to lean on one another, people that have lost the 200 pounds that you're trying to latch onto, or you're at the beginning and you're really trying to inspire others to that process as well. I'm really excited to launch coaching, and it's going to be fun. I'm so excited to see what we can do.
It's going to be really good. With the coaching, obviously, you either have the option of doing one-on-one or group coaching. As David said, you have 24-hour access to David and I. That's via text. We're going to offer weekly or bi-weekly calls. I'm literally reading the flyer right here, folks, which you'll see drop very soon. But I just want to let you guys know, there also will be, just like how we have the ALG community call, we're going to chop that down, make it into bite-sized pieces, and you will be involved in your own small support group with people with like-minded goals. And we're going to do lifestyle nutrition coaching and mental coaching. That's right.
The mindset and nutrition and physical. I mean, I got you. This is what I do. I got you.
And I'm here for a good time, not a long time, ladies and gentlemen. So no, but we can't wait for this really to hit the pavement and go. Because I say it all the time, and I say it way too much. But when we started this, did not expect it to get to where it is here. And we've done we haven't scratched the surface on what we want to do. So now we're really opening up a huge door. We really want to be able to help and inspire and keep, as many people accountable and change lives. So now we're going to have that opportunity.
Oh, yeah.
So we're not going to talk about pricing here, but coaching is now
and it's going to be
available.
On ALGcoaching.com. Bam.
So visit ALGcoaching.com. Visit Amazon.com for the ALG Journal. And of course, as always, you can join us each and every single Wednesday night for the ALG community call, which will always, always, always stay absolutely free. And we're always accepting new members. So we hope to see you in one of the calls soon. David, I appreciate you. As always, this was a really good conversation. I know we had a few tangents, but I think we did a really good job here. If you have any last words to put a button on it, now's the time.
You're a bunch of stud muffins, everyone who's listening right now. You're studs. You're champions.
All right, folks. That's it from us. Stay beautiful, stay sexy, stay accountable. Till next time.
Totals.